Welcome to the first ever attempt to take down over 100 anti Semitic allegations and conspiracy theories. Really should be called conspiracy hallucinations. You don't back up and play defense. There's only offense in winning politics and the winning fight against anti Semitism. These aren't theories, they are hallucinations. Theories require facts. The anti Semitic tropes that are came up with are nothing but hallucinations. The way to go ahead and do this, and by the way, this has never been attempted before, and I'm the first person to try it, not only to go after all 100 of them or so, but who actually has training and background to do so. Nobody else who I've seen has decades of training in marketing, messaging, sales, outreach, demographics, and understands that there's a far better way of doing this. You never play defense like Jews do. Jews will sit around and will explain the anti-Semitism in details, will explain each and why each of the ideas is ridiculous. It's not how you do it. You attack your attacker. You go after them or it will never end, or at least will never get better. You go after them like you go after a bully. You don't talk to them like you talk to a normal, rational person. Let me go ahead and get started with this. Because to be honest with you, if complaining about the attacks on Jews actually worked and showing how Jewish suffering worked, there would be no anti-Semitism, or at least it wouldn't be nearly as bad as it is today. So let's talk about how you go ahead and do this in a far more efficient way. Like I said, you go after them like you go after a bully. And when you go after them, you do it like an apex predator, something at the top of the food chain. You take them down in one big bite. Perfect example is take a look at the war in Gaza. Jews will go on and on and on about how it's not a genocide and how we're doing this and how we're helping the civilians. You're never going to go anywhere like that. You make your adversary answer questions. You don't answer questions. Name one other country in human history that saved more enemy civilian lives than Israel. What? You can't come up with a name? Then why are we even having this conversation? Get out of here with your nonsense. Name one other country other than Israel that wouldn't have annihilated the Palestinians for a fraction of what they've done. In all of human history, name one. Anti-Semites would know what to do. You take them down in one big bite. You also make stupid people answer questions. Recently, we had something where a very famous entertainer came out saying, Kanye West, to be more exact, came out saying that he now thinks of himself as a Nazi and he loved Hitler. You don't go off like so many of the Hollywood entertainers have done, giving him the finger or talking about how ridiculous he is or his mental health issues, which may or may not be happening. Why don't you go ahead and solve the problem permanently? Kanye, you loved Hitler? You love you call yourself a Nazi? Which part of the Nazis did you like best? The fact that Hitler threw black people in concentration camps? Or maybe you like the fact that he went ahead and sterilized his black population and referred to them as his black bastards. You can fill in the word as well as me. Maybe you like the fact that he committed his worst war crimes against black American soldiers who were captured at the Battle of the Bulge. Do you like that? We're not even going to go into the disgusting details about what he did to them. Oh, by the way, Adolf there didn't even think he wanted to kill all the blacks. You know what he wanted to do with them? He wanted to turn them all into a race of slaves. Is that the thing that you love most about him, Kanye? Come on, answer the question. I guarantee you never hear from the guy again on this subject. This is how you deal with it. Always make idiots answer questions. Always make them work. You don't explain. You make the idiot you're going up against explain. Anyways, this is just part of the beginning. If you really want to handle anti-Semitism, there's a very good way to probably put a lot of it to end forever. Look at who the ideologies are who cause it. Communism and socialism, fascism and Islamists. Not all Muslims, but Islamists, Muslim supremacists. They have nothing in common with Jews or Christians or Hindus or Buddhists, but they got everything in common with each other. And it makes this a lot easier. And that's what this will be about, going after the big ideologies that cause it. I'm not concerned about the little fly-by-night cults or what have you. I'm concerned about the major causes of it. Now, these ideologies I just mentioned to you of communism and socialism, fascism and Islamists, otherwise known as the Muslim supremacists, not all Muslims, They love their dictators and psychopaths. They turn countries into S-holes. Their only form of communication is cry bullying, classic criminal behavior. Attack, and pretend you're the victim. And they're where the criminals in charge take all your money and rights, and you spend your life as their slave. And you take them down in one big bite, because all of these ideologies think are supremacist in their minds. They're meant to rule the world. Yet all they can talk about is how Jews kick their arse at everything, and they're nothing but a bunch of pathetic little victims who can't do a thing. Just make fun of them for how stupid they are. I thought you said you're the master race. I thought you thought socialism should rule the world. I thought Islamists should rule the world. Again, not all Muslims, but Islamists. How can you even think about this when all you can talk about is how Jews kick your butt at everything and you're just a pathetic little victim who can't do a thing? Well, according to what comes out of your own mouth, you aren't supreme at anything, are you? Just laugh at them. But you take them down in one big bite with persistency and consistency, not the same words. Persistency means you keep up the same, you keep doing it, and consistency means you keep up the same quality. This is how it's done. Want an easy trick on how to take down the anti-Semitic ideologies? I got a plan that's foolproof, and you could be doing it today. Why don't you unleash the Christians on them? It's simple. Christians have had tremendous success with their online proselytizing of the Muslim and Islamic world. Have them expand it into handling socialists, communists, and fascists as well. Have them flood all their social media channels and turn them all into peaceful Christians. The world will thank you for it. Anyways, let's go back to turning these issues right back on your attacker. You've probably heard the line from the neo-fascists about Jews were kicked out of 109 countries. You use as few words as possible to turn the issue or topic right back on your attacker. Here's what you say. Jews were kicked out of Christian and Muslim crap-hole dictatorships for refusing to submit to Jesus or Muhammad. Good for them. Good job, Jews. Now, why don't you tell us, fascists, why you and your criminal allies were kicked out of 50 countries in just 12 years, a new world's record. And you'll never hear back from them. They don't know what to say. You use as few words as possible to turn an issue or topic back in on your attacker. You're in the digital media age. It shouldn't take you more than 1 to 2 sentences. If it does, you haven't found the right words. In the digital media age, the average attention span is 7 seconds long, 1 second shorter than that of a goldfish. First impressions in the modern world are made in 10 seconds. The average new home buyer in America makes up their mind in 40 seconds walking in the front door of a house whether they want to buy it. The most important financial decision of their life. How long do you think you got to make your argument? You got 1 to 2 sentences. That's it. That's all. So don't spew a bunch of statistics and policies and procedures that people aren't going to remember, not only 5 minutes from now, but 5 months or 5 years. You go ahead and take them down in 1 to 2 sentences. And if there are any attacks that I've missed along the way, come to me and I'll show you how to do this, because I want to teach you how you can learn to take care of yourself and do this yourself. The other thing that you'll find that's important to mention is the rabbis have gotten involved, and they'll sit there and they'll try to defend and beat down every anti-Semitic allegation. No. Probably the best thing for rabbis is to explain to people what Judaism is in as few words as possible. Because if you don't, I guarantee you the anti-Semites will. So you better start taking charge. Here's all you need to do. And if this is all you had put forward, you'd be light years ahead of where Jews are today. Judaism is about 2 things. 1, it's about being happy and loving life. That's why there's so many Jewish actors and entertainers and musicians and artists and songwriters and singers. 10 of the most famous Christmas songs ever written were written by Jews. And the second thing Judaism is about is trying to solve the world's problems, trying to create heaven on earth, not having to wait for the afterlife. That's why there's so many Jewish doctors and scientists and engineers and architects and researchers and astronomers and physicians and astrophysicists, because it's trying to create heaven here on earth. Again, you take charge and you do it in as few words as possible. I will be continuing with the 100 anti-Semitic allegations and how to end each and every one of them. See you in the next episode.